put this on here. I hope this doesn't die. It's almost dead. I don't know how that's gonna work. I guess we'll see. Hello, welcome. My name is Marnie, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about all things yoga related. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm sorry about this notebook, okay? I know it's ugly, but I don't want to waste it. I've had it for a long time, and it's getting put to good use, okay? But I'll get another one at some point, I swear. Okay, anyways, I wrote down this video idea and concept and script, whatever, in October, wanting to do sort of a fall themed video. It's sort of the end of November by the time it's coming out, but it's still autumn. Personally, I live in the north, so it's cold here already. We haven't got snow yet, luckily, but we're gearing up for winter. But it's still that transitional period. So I thought now would be a great time of year to talk about different yoga philosophies and practices that are easy to adapt into your routine this time of year to really align your mind and body with the change of seasons and just really embrace this time of year. I know that this time of year can be very difficult going into winter. It can be a dark time. I know it's always hard for me, but just incorporating some of these practices has really left me feeling ready and prepared and very grounded going into the colder months. Key themes of this time of year in yoga philosophy include balance and equality, letting go, gratitude, rest, and intuition with nature. I will be touching on some simple ways that alignment and focus within these themes and topics can be reached during this special time of year. Everything I'll talk about is very easy and doable and just very bite-sized to bring into your guys' yoga practice or even just day-to-day life. This doesn't even have to be specifically for yoga. But to start, I do just want to give a little background information. There is this system of medicine that takes a very holistic approach to health and wellness that is closely related to yoga, okay? This practice is called Ayurveda. Within the philosophy of Ayurveda, there are certain energies that are believed to govern the physical and mental processes of the body. These energies are called the doshas. Now, each dosha rules a season, and the one that rules autumn specifically is called Vata. Vata's characteristics include the cool, dry, and unpredictable elements that we are all experiencing in the air and just around us during the season. And by adding in these practices that we're going to be discussing today, it's basically to keep this Vata dosha in balance. It's to balance out the cold and cool, frigid temperatures or just like elements. We're trying to balance those out with warmth and keeping our mental health in check, not letting everything get all cold and scary and dark. Trying to balance that out, okay? So with that, the first topic that I want to discuss is catering your movements and workouts and exercises into a more autumn-inspired practice, I guess. As we know, whether you're into yoga philosophy or not, autumn is a very transitional season. We're coming off of that summertime, go, 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 busy, busy, and making our way into that winter hibernation. I wish I could hibernate. That'd be so nice. And going along with that winter darkness, you will probably notice that you want to be inside more and not moving around as much. You might feel a little bit lazy. I know that I do when I see the weather is turning gray and dark and cold. I just kind of want to sit right in this spot, honestly, light a candle, read a book, hang out. I don't really want to do anything. And that's normal and that's fine, but it is important to continue our movements, even if it's not in the way you were doing it in the summertime. You know, the summertime is great. You can be outside, you can go on runs, walks, go to the beach. You can do all those things that you can't necessarily do in winter and fall, which is fine. That's just how it goes. And it is okay to kind of lean into that cozy time and start to wind down a little bit. That's normal too. But it's important, again, to keep it balanced. Since we'll probably be indoors more during this time, I would imagine, and probably not running around as much as we were a few months back, some people may feel a little bit more energy and like they need a healthy way to get that energy out. They might feel cooped up, just itching to go out and do something, which I get that. I feel like that's probably pretty common, but it's okay to not feel like that either. But if you are someone that feels like that, maybe putting a heavier emphasis on your daily yoga practice or just like your daily movement in general that you can still do inside and have more time to do that. So maybe, you know, doing your yoga practice or yoga routine every day instead of once a week, or maybe once a week instead of once a month or something like that. Now can be a really good time to start putting a little bit more of an emphasis on that. I know I've been trying to do that. And again, our daily movement is really great and necessary, but especially with this time of year, we don't want to overdo anything. We want to kind of ease into that slower, more intentional practices. Personally, I've been doing a lot of, well, I've just been having a bigger emphasis on my yoga practice in general, but pairing a really hard, difficult practice with a little bit more of like some yin yoga, just some slower yoga, really focusing on the poses, recovery, restorative yoga, that sort of thing. I've noticed that's really helped me ease into slowing down, but still moving my body, still doing what makes me feel good. So maybe that would be a good option for you. But either way, just be mindful of your daily practice while still not overdoing anything, keeping it good and healthy for you. And also accepting okay, sometimes it's really hard for me to accept the fact that I'm going to be a little bit more stationary this time of year, and that's normal. So just being really patient with yourself and kind and loving, that will go a long way. Okay, so that's what we have for movements this time of year. Next up, we have meditation. Woo! So, meditation, I'm always a little bit hesitant to speak on this topic because, first of all, I feel like it's been talked about so many times. A lot of people talk about it. Meditation is a really big discussion right now, I feel like. And for a while, I didn't feel like I had anything to contribute to that. Meditation was very, very hard for me to get into. I was trying to have a meditation practice, and I did, I would say, or I have for a while now, I would say maybe a couple years, but it was really hard for me to notice any change with it and just honestly understand how to do it. Meditation can look and does look very different from person to person, so it is important to learn what works best for you. For me, it took a lot of time and being, again, really patient with myself to figure out what did work well for me. And I'm still learning that, and I would imagine all of you are still learning that too. But if you haven't tried meditating, I do encourage you to start or just give it a try. I also want to say I wouldn't start with a really intense, long daily practice. I think that can be a lot for a beginner, and that's sort of what I tried to do, and it wasn't really working for me. So I'd be very slow with it, very intentional, and just see how your mind reacts to it, but definitely start in little bite-sized chunks, I would say. Some ideas that I've been sort of meditating on recently with like the change of seasons and all that is how my summer went, how I was feeling, how I grew throughout those months, what I did, how I've changed. Just really reflecting on those, 6 months of like that lighter time of year, and now moving into the darker time of year, how I want to spend my time, how I want to grow so that I'm a better person when next year comes along. Sometimes having a specific topic like that to meditate on is nice to start. For me, it was really hard to begin by trying to quiet my mind and have no thoughts. That was really hard for me. And maybe that's easier for you, and maybe that's a good place for you to start, but for me, it was very difficult. So sometimes having a topic is nice. And with this time of year, it's good to reflect on how you've spent the prior months and how you want to transition into different months. It's beneficial. It can be, for me especially, I've noticed it can be hard to stay as positive or as motivated as the days start to get colder and shorter. So I find that setting a good foundation for myself through meditation can really keep me grounded and set a positive, or just set a good base, I guess, for myself to build on throughout these months when it's a little harder to get out of bed and be as warm and cheerful and happy. So it could be a good tool for that when you're starting to feel like maybe in a darker place. Okay, so now the third and final topic that I want to talk about. This one is my favorite, and I personally have noticed a really, really drastic change in my life since I started adapting this. And now this is autumn foods, eating foods that are in season. This doesn't have to deal with just autumn. Obviously, this is every season. There are foods that flourish and are harvested in a certain season. And we're very fortunate in this day and age to be able to get really whatever produce we want throughout the year, whether it's in season or not. Usually it still, tastes better depending on what time of year it is, but we don't really have to be thinking about what's in season at all, which is actually weird and interesting. But anyways, I just want to talk a little bit about autumn foods specifically. They're some of my favorite foods. Like, we're thinking squash, figs, pumpkin, apples, beets, any like ground vegetable, I feel like is pretty much in season right now. And they're all just so colorful and fun and yummy, all the great, okay, I digress. They're great, okay, we all know that. In yoga philosophy specifically, autumn seasonal foods are traditionally warm, grounding, and nourishing to balance out those cold temperatures, that Veda that we discussed earlier. This is the perfect time of year, too, to take a little more time when you're preparing your meals. Maybe steering away from quick, easier, cooler meals, which are great in the summer, but maybe venturing into some more slow-cooked, homemade meals. And by doing that, not only are we being more thoughtful with like what we're putting into our body, but we're also preparing that food and putting a lot of love and work and feelings into that food that we can maybe share with others or just eat ourselves too. And it's going to make us feel a lot better and full of life, honestly. And because these foods are in season, it's sort of like what we're meant to be eating this time of year, But I think eating and cooking with these foods can just be a very grounding experience and just really keep you in touch with nature and this time of year and feeling our best. But anyways, yeah, I'm very passionate about seasonal foods, okay? Food has a very big impact on my life. So I'm curious to see, like, let me know what you guys are making this season too. I love hearing and seeing recipes. I'm a very big fan of cooking. So if you guys have any recommendations, let me know. But that's really all I have. I just wanted to talk about those main 3 easy practices that can just help you be a little bit more in touch with yourself and with nature. Just helping us have all the tools to prepare for the colder months and be ready to handle ourselves and our relationships and our feelings and all of that good stuff. I just wanted to share with you what I'm thinking about and what I'm doing with my yoga practice this season. Again, I'm sorry, I know the autumn season is pretty much over now, but hey, maybe you live somewhere where it's still pretty warm and pretty fall vibes going on. That's all I have today. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I am going to be uploading a yoga practice next, which I'm very excited about. So check that out. Subscribe, like. Thanks for being here. Bye.